Hello everyone, today I'm going to be visiting the cold north of Chill for Mantic's Northern Alliance Ambush Starter Set. Alright, so this is the Northern Alliance Ambush Starter Set for Kings of War by Mantic. In this box you will get 20 elves, 2 dwarves mounted on giant frost ravens, and a couple of little booklets and the bases, enough to get you started with Kings of War playing the Ambush variant rule set. So yeah, fancy. Important thing, Mantic points. And inside we get a delightful bag of stuff. So this contains a set of 2, 4, 6, 8 sprues. Take a look at those in more detail in a moment. 2 MDF bases of equal size, 100 by 40. 1 large 50 by 150. All the MDF bases are 3mm. You get the Ambush Quick Start Rules and Getting Started book. So has a little QR code on the back, next steps. You can get the rules and the army building on the companion app, which can be free or you can subscribe for extra benefits. But this tells you what the units are, how to play the game, and at the end we even have a scenario to teach you how to play Kings of War. So Ambush is a sub 1000 point variant of the game where the army building is a little different. We also get this. So on one side we have Ambush Starter Set Getting Started build, so showing you how to build the Icekin and the Frostclaws as both Hunter and Berserker variants of the Icekin, and a little bit of an explanation of who goes where, what bases they use, and where you can find out more. On the reverse, you get the stat lines. Berserkers, Frostclaw Riders, and their special rules. So even though you can make both Icekin Hunters and Berserkers, they give you the stats for just one of them here. There's a reason for that. If you build what they suggest here out of the box, so 2 troops of Berserkers and then a regiment of Frostclaw Riders, you can actually field them as a special formation, but we'll get into that in a little minute. So sprue wise, we have 4 identical sprues for the elves. These come from Poland. I believe Archon do the sprue work for them now. So you can see Icekin Hunters or Berserkers. Sprue has 5 bodies, cloaks, some heads, quivers and arms. Nice level of detail all over, and everything is numbered and lettered. So you can see a complete set will be a body of a specific letter, so B plus B head plus B arms, of which there are 2 types, whether you want to go for the ranged hunter option or the Berserker melee version. Nice level of detail, and there's a few things that say alt So alternative heads. Now, while it does say alternative head, and heads and arms are numbered / lettered, the contact points are like a small ball socket for the head, and then the arms are flat. So actually you can combine these any way you want. The only thing you need to keep an eye on are cloaks and quivers, because they are actually, if I turn it round, you might be able to see that. This indent here actually fits a very specific part of the back of the model. Now you can glue it on wherever you want, but you'll get a nice solid join there because it interlocks. So the texture of the fur and the back of the clothing maps into that quite nicely. So that is our elves. And then we actually have, there's 4 sprues for the raven, but it's actually one big sprue that's just been broken and folded over so they could fit in the box. So this, I'm very excited by. This makes one of the Frostclaw riders. And as you can see, there's a lot of options. So in this we have 2 dwarf bodies, 2 spears, their alternative hands to hold on with the chains, and then there's also little ice grenades here and here, which is a unit upgrade. Only 1 body, but 2 different wing sets, 2 different heads, 1 open, 1 closed, and then actually 2 different stony pillars to mount them on. Although you don't have to mount them on those if you don't want to. You could just put some brass rod right up there. Really good level of detail. Again, these are all numbered and lettered, so you can see what goes where. So I've already seen some people using these because the contact point is a flat bit of armor on the back, like a platform. People have been mounting other infantry on them to use them in other armies. So yeah, I see the Frostclaw riders getting a lot of use. I believe they've been added to the free dwarf list now as well. So let's take a look at some of them built. So here are the Frostclaw riders. As you can see, Mantic are starting to lean into the fact that the game works on footprints and multi-basing. So whereas before this may have been a regiment with 3, and then you were having to try and fit them onto the base, in this case they just go, you know what, here's the base, here's 2, their footprint is sufficient that it will fill it all, and just go with it. Really simple, oh, my little blue tack box. Really simple kit to build. Since this one seems to want to be shown off, let's do that. So 2 halves of the body go together, the tail and fighting plate go on, and then the head locks those in place. The wings will only go in one way, so you have a diving version, and then you have the gliding, shall we say. And then you can choose which dwarf head to put on and which dwarf body. The arms and the chain link in to this little front chained part of the platform. So it's actually a very stable build. They're not going to move around much. He's just lightly glued on there so I can remove him again. But nice level of detail on the wings themselves. Gets a little bit flat on the edges here. So you lose that because of the mold design, but there's not much you can do about that. But overall, really nice kit to build and really simple to do so. And these can fly around chucking ice grenades at people you don't like and doing the Lord's own work. Then we have the Icekin Hunters. Sorry, Icekin Berserkers. So this should take up to 10. Because of the way the game is designed, you don't need all 10 on there. So I'd probably put another 2 maybe, or 3 I'd push, which means you can actually stretch the 20 elves in this box a bit further. If you get yourself some additional bases and do some fancy scenic basing, you can push them onwards. Contact glue points on the necks was a little small. I say that, they're very fine creatures because they are elves after all. So if you've got a decent poly cement, obviously don't use super glue. I know some people who do, and all it is a brittle join that will break off. But a good polystyrene cement will weld those together beautifully. And I really like the axe design and the blade design. They've got a very elven light feel to them, with the sort of negative space, the hollows in the axes and the leaf blades for the swords. And there's some nice detail on the sort of leathers and furs they're clad in as well, which really sets them off as something very different from your standard elves. They are, after all, well, these are in particular half-blood, half-human, half-elf, so the mix of both, but all working under the delightful Talannar. And here are the little hunter set. Blue tack does not want to stick. Again, easily built, easy to put together. Cloaks, like I say, interlink very well. I will say put the quivers on first when you're doing the hunters, because as you can see, some of the cloaks ride over the top, and because of the way they nestle snugly into the actual joins, you may find it difficult to locate them precisely if the cloaks are already on. So quivers on, then cloaks, and then heads and arms can go on as you will afterwards. And again, that's a troop base, but a troop base with only 5 on it, and it still looks pretty full. So you could almost double your infantry by doing it with the old multi-basing. Like I say, if you plan on picking this box up, if you're just getting in to Kings of War, the concept of building 2 units of these, followed by your Frostclaw riders, means you can run them as the formation, the Vanguard formation, which does a couple of interesting things. First off, it gives the Frostclaw riders rallying for elves, so it increases the nerve and waver of these guys, meaning they they've got a dash 13, so it goes up to a dash 14 nerve value, so they're less likely to be broken quickly. And then it also gives 2 units of these crushing strength 1, and that's on top of their thunderous charge 1, which gives them a lot more damage on impact and more sustained damage after that initial clash if you haven't broken something. And this is something that Mantic started doing, where the ambush boxes are not just a good way of getting into Kings of War. The idea is that it will give you a solid formation that you can then use in the game as well. So there we have it, the ambush starter set for the Northern Alliance. All right, there we have it. Fascinating little set for the Northern Alliance. 2 new plastics in there as well. The half-elf berserkers, great. Really like them. Nice to have the options beyond the 1, 2 PVC versions they released. I think it was 1 with alternate head, actually, if memory serves. So no longer do you have to have all of the figures look the same in the unit. If you actually want to field them, they've made that much easier. So the Ice King Hunters and then the Berserkers there as well, doing a ton of damage, and then backed up by those Frostclaws. I mean, they're great. Another great thing is the fact that that box allows you to build Talannar's formation, which will give you a buff to your crushing strength for the elves and give the Frostclaw riders rallying for the elves as well, and increase their own nerve, which makes it both a nice way to get introduced to the game, and also you're going to be picking up a lot of these anyway if you're building armies, so you'll already have that formation available, which is a nice buff, a little elite version of some of those figures on the tabletop, and crushing strength is always great. But let me know what you think of the Northern Alliance Amber set yourself, whether or not you plan on visiting Chill and getting involved in Kings of War. Until next time, bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.